everybody, welcome to Morning Glory Farmstead. My name is Lolly and this channel is all about gardening, animals, and nature. And today I'm gonna go a little bit backwards. I'm gonna start with the end and then I'm gonna backtrack through the rest of the footage. So I have already done all my shopping and I have a special project that I'm working on today for the winter, and then let you guys know what's been going on the last couple weeks, why it's taken me so long to film, and then leave you with some beautiful fall footage from today. All right, now hopefully you can hear me because it's super windy today, but what I'm gonna be doing is planting some things that I'm going to be keeping inside. And I'm doing this for myself, but to also give you guys some ideas. Don't forget that you can grow microgreens or just small greens indoors throughout the fall and winter. You never have to bring them in from the outside. So if you don't have a greenhouse, no problem. You can still grow some nutrients throughout the entire year. Now, you guys know I love to grow in my GreenStalk all through the fall and winter using my frost covers. I've also got some railing planters over here with greens growing, but I thought, you know what? I haven't grown greens inside throughout the winter, and that's what I want to try today. So let me show you what I got. Okay, so I got 6 different pots. They're very small. They can either go on my kitchen counter or in the back bedroom where I have my grow lights. I'm not really sure where I'm gonna put these yet. I haven't decided because my cats are a huge problem. They love to dig in dirt. They'd love to use it as a kitty litter box. And if it grows the greens, they're gonna eat those too. So I may have to hide them. So this color is called Merlot. We've got one here that is charcoal and Pebblestone. Okay, so I got 2 of each of these. I love these colors. They're, you know, a little bit neutral, so I like that. And if you look in the inside, let's see. You can see there's some drainage holes. Now, honestly, I haven't used these before, so I don't know if it actually drains out the bottom through those 2 holes, but I think it does. As I was editing this, I just noticed it says punch out for drainage on the bottom. So there is a place for drainage. Now, I'm not planning on putting pebbles or anything in the bottom because I want to eat these while they're still really young. And I don't think the root systems are going to get that huge. So we'll see. Now, in case they do leak out the bottom, I got these little trays. Okay, they're not the cheapest plastic ones. In fact, I was a little bit disappointed. These are actually $4 and something, whereas the pots that I got were only $2 and something. Y'all, it's about to blow everything off the table. I can't even see. You can do it way more expensively than I'm doing it, but the reason I'm doing it on the cheap is because so many people are on a budget these days, and I just wanted to show you an option. There are a million ways to tweak this, so you can make it as fancy as you want or as plain as you want. I'm choosing the plain because I'm all about practicality, and that's pretty much the way I always tend to go. Now, for those of you who have watched my videos, you know I have favorite greens that I grow in my planters and in my green stalks. But y'all, I have a new one and I'm really excited to try it. Let me show you what it is. All right. It's a lettuce and it's called forellenschluss, I think. It's from Austria. It's an heirloom seed from Austria, and it means speckled like a trout. And you can kind of see why. All right, now the others are pretty much some of my go-tos. I've got kale. I love kale, especially when it's small. My favorite, which is chijimisai. And my other favorite lettuce, which is landis winter. So I've got 6 pots and I'm only planting 4 things. Now, I've got a lot of the landis winter growing in my GreenStalk and also in the railing planters, but I do want to see how it does indoors. So I'm going to do 1 pot with the landis winter, 1 with the kale because I've got that growing too, 2 with the chijimisai just because it's my favorite and I want to see how that does indoors. And honestly, I don't think I've ever eaten it really small or as a microgreen or just really mini. So I want to make sure I have plenty because when I pick it, it's going to have to grow back. And then I'm gonna do 2 of the new one that I just showed you because I think I'm gonna like it and I would like to have that variety and that color growing. Now, some of y'all like to use seed starting mix. For me personally, I'm just gonna use the Carolina Gold organic potting mix because I couldn't find any organic seed starter at the store today. And this is just what I've always used. I love it. I haven't had any issues with things not growing, so that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna just kind of crumble it up, make sure that there's no huge clumps in there. Again, I'm gonna be picking this pretty young, so it'll develop a few root systems, but I don't think I'm gonna let it get super big. We'll kind of see. I wanna let it get, you know, big enough to where I don't feel like I'm just wasting my seeds. And that's kind of why for a couple of these, I wanted to have it growing in 2 pots. That way, if I want to let one get a little bit bigger or eat one while it's a little bit smaller, I can just do it however I want. And y'all, I'm not using a shovel because number 1, these pots are just small. Number 2, I would have to walk to the backyard to the garden shed to get one. And y'all know I like to take as few steps as possible. For health reasons, y'all, if you're new to my channel, it has nothing to do with just being lazy. I used to be a gym rat, and a runner. I used to run 5 miles a day when I was at my peak, and I loved it. So this is just a lifestyle change that has been kind of forced upon me. And that's just the way it is. So what I'm gonna do is fill these up and then I'm gonna go wash my hands off before I open up the packets of seeds. If y'all see those toy cars, I have a demo to do for y'all in a few minutes. They are here for a purpose. I confiscated them from my grandsons. All right, almost done here. I'm not gonna pack it real tight, just a little bit. Now, because I'm gonna be eating them when they're younger, I am gonna kind of plant a few more seeds in here than I normally would. If you know, I'd use a GreenStalk a lot. You just do 2 or 3 little holes with a seed or 2 in each one. But because I'm gonna be eating these so young and growing them in the house, I'm gonna kind of just spread them around. And they're so tiny. Kale's a little bit bigger, but for the most part, they're so tiny that I'm just gonna put them in here and just kind of cover them up a little bit. And y'all, this potting mix is super moist because this bag was out in the rain and I think it kind of seeped through. So I don't think that today I'm gonna have to water it, okay? It's really damp. So I'll check it tomorrow, and if it's dried out, we'll give it a good water. They don't need as much sunlight right now as they need the water to germinate. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands and then I'll be back and we'll sow some seeds. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring this in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. Y'all, it is the most beautiful day today. It's just really windy. This is what I'm gonna do first. And I'm gonna put this in the Merlot because I think with that color, it's gonna be really beautiful up there. These look like those long, kind of the oblong, whiter colored seeds. And I'm putting way more than I normally would. I'll give you a close-up before I cover them all up. Okay, so that was the forellenschluss, the Austria seed. Now we're gonna do chijimisai. I'm gonna do 2 of these, I think, in the charcoal. Uh-oh, looks like these are kind of coming out. They're stuck in the glue, the sticky stuff. So depending on how big I want these to get, I'll either use a grow light or just put them under the light under one of my kitchen cabinets. You know, I really don't ever grow microgreens because I feel like I'm wasting the seed, but I think I'm gonna enjoy this fall and this winter and just see how it goes. And if I feel like it was worth it, then I'll do it again next year. All right, that was the chijimisai. Now I'm gonna do kale and landis winter. Now somebody put in one of the comments that they couldn't get the landis winter, they didn't see it. So it could have been that Baker Creek was out for a little while just because so many people were buying it. All right, so kale is very similar to the chijimisai as far as how it looks, and I'll give you a close-up in a minute. All right. Hey y'all, the reason I want to show you the fall footage that I got is because when I think of fall footage, and just fall in general, I think about the gold and orange and different shades of brown and some red tones. But y'all, when I went to Lowe's today, it was absolutely like being in the botanical gardens. And I couldn't believe all the stuff that you can still buy and plant for the fall, or at least enjoy during the fall. And so that's why I want to show it to you today. It was just beautiful. There was hardly anybody there. I was by myself and oh my gosh, y'all, I'm talking and I just planted it in the wrong one. Okay, let's try that again. I wonder if I can pick those out. Oh my goodness, y'all. I didn't see what I was doing. The colors were so similar, my brain just went straight here. Oh my goodness, y'all. I'm gonna have to pick these out. Okay, well that gives me another chance to tell you what I was talking about. Anyway, there were just so many beautiful colors that my brain did not associate with fall. And so that's what I want to share with you guys, just all the beautiful colors. Y'all, you know what? I may just have one that's a combo here, and that'll be okay. I mean, I do have this one that's all chijimisai. That's what I get for talking. Y'all, those other ones just blended right into the dirt. That's one of those things where you can't, you know, walk and talk at the same time. Goodness gracious. Okay, well this is gonna be a combo, and you know what? I'm okay with it. Let me give you a close-up of these. Okay, so this is the landis winter. Y'all can see my finger still has black where I smashed it with the hammer like a month ago at least. All right, so the forellenschluss, I'm gonna cover that up. Okay, it's not perfect. I may have to push those down a little bit. All right, so all those little balls in there, that's the kale. At least I think it is, y'all. Now in this one, I mixed the landis winter and the chijimisai. And honestly, that's okay. It's gonna be gorgeous. Okay, and I took most of the landis winter out, but there's a few in there. We'll see what happens. But here is the chijimisai. Can y'all see how tiny those are? All right. Okay, so that was quick, and I think I'm really going to enjoy having these. Now I'm gonna show you this awesome fall footage from today. So this is on my drive to and fro, and then also while I was at Lowe's. And so what I want you to see are all of the color options, flower options, plant options, whatever you wanna call it, for fall, because I think a lot of people tend to buy things for the spring and summer, and then they kind of let the flower part die down as soon as fall hits. But y'all, this stuff is in its prime at the stores. So y'all visit your farmers markets, your local garden stores, and don't forget that fall is just as beautiful. right, guys, that is just a friendly reminder of all the beautiful things that are still out there. So don't forget to find something that you can enjoy this season that is full of color. Okay, so if you're still around, I'm going to tell you what's been going on the last 2 or 3 weeks and why it took me so long to make a video. First, let me show you what happened about 2.5 weeks ago while I was driving down the street. And I told you I confiscated these cars from my grandson so that I could do a little demo. I'm going to move these pots off the table real quick so I can show you what happened. And by the way, when these start growing, I'm going to show you what these look like. Okay, so about 2.5 weeks ago, I was run off the road. So I didn't actually get hit by the car, but had I gotten hit, I probably would have died. And I want to show you the scenario and how God was looking out for me. Okay, so we're going to pretend that this lovely truck is me, because y'all know that I wish I had a truck, okay? And we are going to pretend that this was the car in front of me, and this is the other car that was the problem. So I'm literally maybe 5 minutes from home, probably less. So I'm very familiar with the territory. I'm kind of on autopilot. I've got my daughter on the phone on speaker, and I'm going about 45 miles per hour, and I'm following this car. So we're driving down the road, 45 miles per hour, and I'm talking to my daughter. And then all of a sudden, I see this. And it took my brain a second to register, oh my gosh, that car is coming head on in my lane. It was a big black truck. It wasn't even a car. It was a really big truck, like a pickup truck. And about the time that it registers to my brain that that car is coming head on for the two of us, this guy just takes off the road, down into a ditch and up into a yard, just misses the mailbox, and here's what's going on. Okay, so I'm going 45, he's going at least 45, and I literally just turn like that. And I'm kind of like into a yard, but it's a deeper ditch, and so there was a lot of bouncing, and then up into the yard, skidded across the driveway and left marks in their brand new pavement that they had just had done on their driveway, and ended up in the grass near the trees on the other side of the yard. This guy kept on going. He stayed in our lane. So if he had moved, this is why you don't text, y'all. This is why this kind of stuff is so important. It was a matter of seconds. If he had moved and I wasn't looking, or I was even looking out the side window or looking at the fields like I do, just enjoying the day, and I didn't see him, he would have hit me straight on. He never veered out of that lane until he got way down the road. So he veered off, and then all of a sudden I just, like that, and my daughter just heard me screaming. I don't know how I didn't flip my car. So that was one thing. Okay, so after that debacle, I kind of felt like I had been hit with a bat across my back, like this upper area and my neck. I was really sore for a few days. So about 3 or 4 days after that, I started having some really bad head pain over here. And it was so bad by about the 3rd day in that I was literally driving, holding my head like this. I was lying down holding my head, and it was like someone had some type of shock treatment that they were just sending into my brain every couple seconds. And it was so bad that my doctor sent me to the emergency room to make sure I didn't have a blood clot or some bleeding in the brain or something like that. And they said it showed absolutely nothing. So I was still left with, what in the world is going on with this? Well, by that night, it turned out I had a full-blown lymphedema infection. So if y'all have watched my channel, I have lymphedema related to a cancer treatment and surgery that I had years ago. And although the lymphedema is unsightly, it's the infections that can kill me. And so now I'm on antibiotics every single day because for the last 3 years or so, it's been getting worse and worse and worse. There was a period where it was doing okay, and I thought it was because I was eating all organic and things like that, because I can't have toxins. And I mean, it would be a lot worse if I wasn't. but I wasn't able to go more than 2 or 3 days, 5 at the max probably, without antibiotics, and I would get really sick again. And it's not just my legs that have the problem, even though that's where the lymphedema is from the waist down. It's the fact that I get fever, chills, nausea, vomiting, extreme head pain on the top. It is horrible. I'm absolutely debilitated. I've texted my family a few times saying, hey, just saying I love you in case I don't make it, because it's that bad. So I went to infectious disease, who said, okay, hey, let's start you on antibiotics every day. What we're going to try to do is see what is the least amount that you can take that will still suppress infection in your body, because my body doesn't work right anymore. It can't. They removed way too many lymph nodes, and so you can't function normally without them. That's something that people have. Y'all don't take it for granted that you've got your lymph nodes working for you, because I feel like for me, it's kind of like just a matter of time that eventually one of these infections is going to get me. And I'm not trying to be super negative. That's just the way it is, because it's progressive. It's getting worse and worse. And each infection, I feel it very differently. And I'm just not sure how this is going to go. I'm feeling really sick a lot. I feel like a person that's just unwell in general, which is why it took me so long to do this video. So what happened was I got that infection, and this head pain that was over here was from that infection. But I didn't know it, because that's not the way that it normally presents. Normally I do get sick and I feel horrible, and it's a really obvious pattern that it always follows. And so I know when I'm getting sick. I start out lethargic, I can barely move, then my muscles and my bones and my joints and every cell in my body starts hurting. Then I start getting a fever and I start shivering, and it just lasts for a couple of days before I can even get out of bed. Well, what happened was, because we had changed my meds and we're trying something, we were changing the pattern of medication, this was a really slow onset of the infection. So I never felt great, but I was kind of able to function. So, we're trying to figure out, where is this happy medium going to be for me? And eventually these antibiotics aren't going to work, because you build up a resistance, and I've been taking them for 3 years. So this infection had been building up over the last couple weeks, when I was thinking, oh good, I haven't had an infection for a couple weeks. I'm doing pretty good, because usually I'll do my videos and then I get sick maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, and I'm down. And I had gone a full 2 or 3 weeks without getting sick, but I was on antibiotics still every single day. When I get these infections now, I'm supposed to try another new med that I've never taken before. And so I let my doctor know, hey, I'm sick, I'm getting ready to try this medication. So I took it, and it was a really slow recovery from the fever and the chills and the nausea and just absolutely feeling horrible part of the infection. And I also started having spots and itching really bad. And so I figured I was getting ready to have an allergic reaction after about 3 pills. So we talked and I stopped that. But by that point, the fever had broken. And so then I went back to this other medicine that I was taking, but we doubled the dose. So that's where I am right now. We have doubled that dose, and I'm able to at least function, although I don't feel great. But this is the first time I've been able to even think about talking to the camera, even though I've had to do chores and things around here. So I am happy to be up and about a little bit more than I was before. But y'all, this impacts the treatment all the way around. If you watched my last video, I told you that my left leg looked like the Michelin Man, because I was going to a therapy a couple times a week that's out of town. I have to drive a long way to get there, a long way back. And we're wrapping my leg, and we're trying to do this reduction treatment so that if we can get my leg down smaller, then we're gonna order the customized compression that you can only get when you have it measured and whatnot. And it's so tight that it will break my nails every time I put them on, okay? So this is serious business, but we're trying to get my leg down. Well, I had to take all of that off, all the bandaging off, because of the infection, and now my leg is swollen back to how it was before, and we're starting from square one all over again, because with lymphedema, it doesn't go away, it just comes back. So the idea is to get it as small as you can and then keep it compressed. But when you have an infection, you can't wear that compression like that, because it can have a really negative impact on your body. So now I've got to start all over with those treatments of driving back and forth forever to get my leg wrapped a few times a week. You have to go back and forth and check, make sure your skin is okay and all of that. So there's just been a whole lot going on with multiple appointments my yearly appointments, the car issue, going to the emergency room to get a CAT scan to check my head out, being very sick for a longer period of time, and just now recouping. Y'all, this isn't funny, but it is funny. I had to go to my GYN doctor for my annual appointment, and it was the day that I went to the emergency room, and I'm on the table and I'm holding my head like this and I start crying. Y'all, the pain was so bad and had been so bad for 3 or 4 days, I couldn't take it anymore. So it was that bad that I started crying in his doctor's office, and he's like, "Are you in menopause?" Oh my gosh. I said, "I don't ever cry like this, but the head pain is so bad that I can't take it." So he ordered labs to see if I was in menopause. And hey, y'all, the good news is I am not in menopause yet, even after having that radical hysterectomy when I had cancer and all that. So that's good news. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. I am just glad to be up and about, and we're still trying to figure out what my medication regimen is going to be. Am I going to stay on this 4 times a day? Am I going to be okay? Like, I still have to call him and let him know if I've gotten worse or not. So I'm just trying to sneak this video in because, y'all, I'm heading into the 2-week mark with no video, which is very unlike me, but I have just been too fatigued and lethargic to do it. So that is what has been going on. So hopefully I'll see you guys again in just a few days. There's still been a lot of things going on around here and a lot of updates to mention. All right, y'all, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and sorry about the delay in getting this video out. Hopefully the next one will be much sooner, and I'll see you real soon, and you guys have a great few days. Bye-bye.